It is Wednesday morning at the Reggie Lewis Center in Roxbury. Fourth graders from Boston's Farragut Elementary School arrive for a class. Surprisingly, there are no chalkboards, desks, or grade books here. Still, these students are about to learn some important skills. Their teachers? A unique group of actor-educators called Urban Improv.
A lot of people think they're strong. They blame others when something's wrong. They pick on others without knowing why, and then join in when the insults fly.
Urban Improv uses movement, music, and improvisational acting to help students cope with the hard facts of growing up. A director, 3 actors, and a musician develop songs and themes around issues like self-esteem, peer pressure, racism, family violence, and drug abuse.
The most important idea for me is just self-esteem and helping young people build their own self-esteem. And I mean, there's so many things that go into it. I mean, we're working with kids where they get a chance to express their opinions. And in this environment, it's a very safe place for you to be able to say how you feel about specific issues.
You're going to make me a dog.
What? A dog?
You're going to make me a dog. Everyone has to watch. Everyone pay attention.
Advocates of arts programs in the schools have long argued that children need creative relief, particularly in urban areas where the arts, they say, can offset the harsh realities of the inner city. But Urban Improv takes it one step further, using theater to explore specific concerns for children at risk. Started in 1993, the troupe provides 12-week interactive workshops for 300 Boston school children who are bussed in for the weekly 75-minute classes. After warm-ups and a song, the performers stage a scene in which the characters are faced with a tough dilemma. Students start out as the audience, but quickly become involved in the action itself.
The scene we try to make as real as possible, as relevant to the lives of the kids as possible. And at pivotal moments, we'll freeze the action and ask the kids to come into the scene with the actors that are up there and decide what to do. And the actors, using their own improvisational skills, will have to figure out how to adjust to whatever way the student takes it.
Look what I found in the trash can. I put it in this bag.
Is that real?
Yeah, it looks real. Check it out, man. Oh, come on, man.
I want to hold it. I want to hold it. Can I hold it?
Take it out. No, don't touch that. What are you doing?
Oh, man. This is heavy. Wow.
No, that's terrible.
Step back.
What are you doing, people? Step back. Come on, what are you pointing the gun at me? Come on. Are you crazy?
Why are you going to shoot it?
No, man. That's a gun.
We ain't gonna shoot nobody, man. But if people keep bothering us, this is exactly the thing we need to get some power and some respect around here.
Yeah.
Freeze! Does anyone else have another idea of how you could do it? You want to try something, Tony?
You wanna hold it? No. What do you mean? Come on, man. What about that girl who's been picking on you in school? What's her name? Belinda or whatever her name is?
Beatrice.
Beatrice. Man, I mean, she's been giving you a hard time 24/7, man. So
Yeah, let me see,
You may need this.
We give kids an opportunity to play out tough situations in relative safety. We put them in, and when they're in the moment, they often talk to us about how real it felt. You know, and we put them there, but there's a safety net. So suddenly they're faced with gang situations, or they're faced with sexual harassment, teen pregnancy situations, and they have to really think it through, and for that matter, interact with the people they would be interacting with, best friends and parents and police officers, teachers, but there's no consequence, no real consequence. So we're giving them the opportunity to go through that thought process, and I think that that's instrumental.
At the end of the scene, the class spends time discussing the experience they've shared. According to the group's director, getting to play many different types of characters gives the students a sense of empathy for others, as well as insight into who they are.
Somehow, when you play out a scene, when you actually get up and try it out, there's something that goes on when you suddenly click in to find yourself in that situation again. And they have come in and shared experiences where things have happened and they've, dealt with it differently. And I think that's probably the most important thing, is that they're learning life skills, learning how to, be in positions where they can protect themselves or believe in themselves.
Stop it, that's not funny. Stop making fun of it.
Samantha, just chill, okay?
No, not until you stop making fun of him. Well, I won't talk to you anymore.
Oh, so now you're defending him?
The hope is that they walk away from this understanding that there's a possibility for better, for more, for a different way of looking at the world than the world they're generally presented with. They don't get a chance to express how they feel about a lot of the complicated issues that they are dealing with. And sometimes that's the difference between, making a smart choice and a not so smart choice. Just the idea that you feel like you can express it, verbalize it.
You were so bossy.
All right, please. Yeah!
Shake the world of prejudice, starting with me. Shake the world of prejudice, starting with me. Shake the world of prejudice.
Even though it's called Urban Improv, the group works with students in a variety of settings, from suburban Burlington to more rural areas in western Massachusetts and New York. The workshops are tailored to the specific concerns of the audience. Today, it's recent immigrants to Boston for whom English is a second language.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You ain't from around here.
No English.
No English.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. You figure you'd learn the language before you got to the country.
I think it's something that helps kids from all walks of life because we can tailor the scenes and to whatever issue we want. And it can be fun because you're not really putting yourself on the line in a way. And yet the things that you learn from how this character makes their decisions can certainly be something that you can learn from in your own life.
Oh, sure, yeah, whatever. Like you can make that kind of money in your country.
Yes, I had a big store in my country.
So you had a big store there and you wanted a big store here, so you figured you'd wreck mine and take it over, right? The kids come from as many different kinds of backgrounds as you could imagine. But I think the commonality is that all the kids that we see need help just expressing what's going on in their heads.
Since I'm really tall and I get a little chubby, everyone starts calling me names and everything.
And what do you do when that happens?
I just get really sad and just forget about it.
So you ignore them? Do you ignore them basically, or
Yeah.
do you try to talk to them about it?
I can't talk to them. They all just shove me out of the way.
They made it so comfortable for everybody that everybody didn't feel scared or feel that they'll be ridiculed because they was talking about what happened personally. And so we would have a rap session on what they're talking about, and everybody will sometimes, without questions or asks, tell a personal story. You gotta think about what's right and what's wrong. So, you just gotta know what are you about to do, and you have to know the consequences for what you're about to do. So the best thing for you to do is just think before you act. And I think that's one of the things that Urban Improv is about, thinking about what you're about to do before you do it.
Sarah Lawrence Lightfoot is an author, sociologist, and educator at Harvard. She's a believer in the power of the program.
Well, I think Urban Improv is a kind of oasis. That's how I see it. That is, they're coming from schools that require a certain kind of learning and behavior that tends to be relatively narrowly prescribed and relatively sedentary, and having mostly to do with language and literacy, what happens cognitively from here up. So they come to this place, and it's an oasis. It's full of adults who care deeply, who are both artists and teachers, who care about the mind and the heart and the spirit and the soul and the body and all of the ways in which all of those things relate. And they recognize that learning and growth require the stimulation of all of those faculties.
Sing to get along and shake the world of prejudice, starting with me. Shake the world of prejudice.
If all kids could participate in this program, kids from Wellesley and Weston and the fanciest elite private academies, it would be fabulous. It isn't only needed by poor kids or deprived kids or black kids or Latino kids or anything like that. This is a human experience.
Shake the world, prejudice, starting with me. Shake the world, starting with me. Oh, you got to shake that world, yeah.
There's no Boston like our Boston, like the Boston we know.
At the 5th annual Band in Boston show, hundreds came out to the Avalon Club on Lansdowne Street to support urban improv and to laugh at the local luminaries coaxed into performing on stage. The cast included former U.S. Senator Alan Simpson, Fleet Boston President Charles Gifford, some of Boston's finest chefs, and a number of political and media VIPs.
And there you have it, folks, the all-star cast of Band in Boston.
It's part of the job of being a congressman from Southeast.
Yeah, and it's fun too. And, most of our work is so serious that anytime we've got a chance to let our hair down and just sing songs and tell jokes, it's really it's good for us as well as I hope it's good for the improv too.
Why was Clinton so reluctant to decide the fate of Elian Gonzalez? Because the last time he stuck a Cuban somewhere, he was almost impeached.
Oh, look who's coming. It's Marjorie Clapper of WMEX Radio. I'm a taxi driver, can you tell?
You're dressed for the part.
I know it.
You have some good lines?
I have some really good lines if they were spoken by someone with any talent, but I'm going to do the best. And I think in one, I'm playing a Republican, which will be difficult, but anything for urban improv.
Can you sing?
I pretend to. What I lack in talent, Mary, I make up for in chutzpah. I'm loud. Chip important men, among them Peter Blute.
Important younger women too, dressed in bathing suits.
In the interest of full disclosure, I must confess that even I had a bit part in the evening's production.
Or you'll end up like Peter Blute, a steakhouse castaway.
The show's main plot, if you could call it that, revolved around a chronically depressed Mayor Menino, playing himself, who tries to turn a floundering Big Dig into a money-making tourist attraction.
We're going to turn this so's air into a Cooper chowder. Cooper. Meet me at the...
Excuse me?
You got any of that Cooper chowder left?
You need any help?
I've never tasted that. That's what mine says. How about yours?
Where did you get your training in acting?
Oh, I'm not going to answer that. That's a leading question.
Would they be talking about you if you weren't here?
No, because I'd have the building inspectors here watching the show, and I'd probably close it down if they made fun of me.
Think of a fix Menino for the whole state's underground.
Everything and everybody is fair game in the lavishly staged lampoon. A tipsy Bill Weld, played by Aerosmith bass player Tom Hamilton, apologizes to Judge God, Harvard's Reverend Peter Gomes, for leaving the Commonwealth in the hands of Paul Cellucci.
Oh, dude, that is a big-time technicolor sin. Heavy duty.
What role do you play tonight?
Oh, I have two roles. I'm God's version of Judge Judy. I'm Judge God. But my best part is as my neighbor and old friend, Julia Child. I don't like veggies all naked and crude. It may be roughage, but don't call it food.
The event was a commercial success, raising $275,000 to fund urban improv for the next year. Artistically, it was a different story. Band in Boston's anticipated long run was cut short by harsh reviews. And to the relief of Boston theatergoers, its star-studded cast returned to their day jobs.
Here's the